Hey everyone, welcome back to Ceasefire Violation, where we uncover the most mind blowing stories from the world of warfare, history, and geopolitics. Today, we're diving into one of the most explosive, literally, chapters in nuclear history. You've probably heard of Hiroshima, maybe Nagasaki too. But what if I told you that in 1961, the Soviet Union detonated a bomb so powerful it made those blasts look like firecrackers? This is the story of Tsar Bomba, the largest nuclear device ever detonated by humankind. And yeah, believe it or not, it's also considered the greenest nuke ever tested. So let's rewind a bit. October 30th, 1961, the height of the Cold War. The US and the Soviet Union were locked in a high stakes game of nuclear poker. And Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev, he wanted to raise the stakes. Big time. So he commissions a team of top Soviet physicists, guys like Andrei Sakharov, Viktor Adamski, and Yuri Trutnev, to create a bomb that would shock the world. And oh boy, did they deliver. They built Tsar Bomba, or Big Ivan, as it was sometimes called, a monster of a device. 8 meters long, 2.1 meters in diameter, weighing a massive 27,000 kilograms. This thing was so big, they had to modify a 295-volt strategic bomber just to carry it. And when they dropped it, they used a giant parachute, just to slow it down enough for the plane to get the hell out of there. Now, here's where it gets wild. Originally, the bomb was designed for a 100 megaton yield, but the final version, they toned it down to just 50 megatons. Why? Because going full power would have produced too much radioactive fallout, even for the Soviets. But still, 50 megatons. That's about 3,800 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. Let that sink in. Now, here's the real curveball. Despite being the most powerful weapon ever tested, Tsar Bomba was also the greenest nuclear bomb ever made. Sounds crazy, right? Well, it wasn't green in the eco-friendly hugger-tree sense, but compared to other nukes, it left surprisingly little lasting radiation. Here's why. First, they left out the uranium, 238 tamper. That part normally boosts the explosion and increases fallout. Instead, they used lead, which neutered that effect. Second, the bomb relied mostly on fusion reactions, not fission. Fusion, unlike fission, doesn't generate as much long-lived radioactive waste. And finally, they detonated it 4 kilometers above the ground, high enough to reduce ground contamination. So yeah, still an apocalypse in the sky, but a cleaner one, relatively speaking. The test itself? It was pure controlled chaos. Location? Novaya Zemlya, a remote frozen island in the Arctic Circle. Altitude of detonation? 13,000 feet above ground. Mushroom cloud? Shot 60 kilometers into the stratosphere. The shockwave? Circled the Earth 3 times. Windows shattered 900 kilometers away. The flash? Seen from over 1,000 kilometers. That's like dropping a bomb in New York and someone in Chicago seeing it. And the destruction radius? Anything within 35 kilometers vaporized. There was a village nearby called Severny. It was uninhabited, but still completely leveled. But here's the kicker. Tsar Bomba was never meant to be used in actual war. It was too big to fit into any missile silo. Too slow to deploy, had to be dropped by bomber, which was easy to intercept, and way too dangerous to ever risk setting off in a real conflict. So what was the point? Propaganda. Plain and simple. A show of force. A very loud message to the West. We can build this. What about you? And it worked. Just 2 years later, in 1963, the Partial Test Ban Treaty was signed, limiting nuclear tests in the atmosphere, space, and underwater. So what's Tsar Bomba's legacy? Well, it stands as a symbol of technological excess, proof that just because we can build something doesn't mean we should. But it was also a scientific milestone, showing how high-yield fusion devices could be built while minimizing radioactive waste. And maybe, just maybe, it taught us that even in the darkest corners of human invention, there's room for responsibility. Tsar Bomba, the emperor of bombs. A weapon so massive, so powerful, it shook the entire planet, and yet was never used again. A terrifying display of human capability, wrapped in steel and plutonium, and dropped into the Arctic sky, like a warning to all mankind. And that, my friends, was the largest and greenest nuclear bomb ever tested. Thanks for watching Ceasefire Violation. If you found this story as jaw-dropping as we did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our next deep dive. Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us, do you think the world would survive another Tsar Bomba moment? Until next time, stay curious, stay sharp, and stay safe.